Andrea Clausen here, and today we are going to work on building a Yoga Nidra Nest with tools that you might have laying around at your house. Okay, so since fitness is part of my background, and I know a lot of my people like to work out, you might have some of these like steps laying around your house. So some of us might have a short step like I have, others we might have the longer steps. But what I find is this can be a nice little backrest for our incline ramp if you were going to build that to rest in. And so I have a few different riser steps, but what I did is I took my riser step and I angled it, and then I put the top lid on, and so they're kind of nice and sturdy and they're set back. And then what I would do is I just have an old cushion from one of the chairs that we got rid of, and then you can kind of put that cushion right on top, and then use any blankets that you might have for a little extra support under the tailbone. I also have the bottom base cushion from the chair that we threw away, and I kept that, and so this is a great spot for me to rest my legs on. And so when you're kind of sliding in, you're going to kind of experiment the angle, the height. And so for me, again, I'm taller, I have to sit myself down just a little bit so my head feels supported. But otherwise, this is actually not too bad of a makeshift prop. And then as you get into this spot, you might even want a pillow if there's a large gap between your low back and the floor. So if you feel like there's like a lot of a C curve happening, you might put a prop there. Like I could roll up this blanket and kind of fold that in half. And so that might be a little extra support for that low back. So yeah, that feels really nice. And then you could have another blanket on the pelvis for a little extra grounding. I have an old, like just one of my workout tank tops. It's nice and thin. And so this is a great prop to use if you want to cover the eyes and you don't have an eye pillow or you don't have a scarf. So that goes right over the eyes. The arms might rest at the sides. And if your elbows were off the earth, you could bring in another pillow from your couch and then rest that forearm down. That's one option. So that is one way that you can kind of use things. Another option, you can use laundry baskets. And so you might set that same situation up behind you, and you could angle, I could even put the laundry basket, I guess, over the top if I wanted. You could set that up at an angle. You could use the laundry basket where your legs were resting on top of that. You can use old suitcases. So maybe you have a suitcase that's got a little bit more firmness to it and angle that up to set up your Yoga Nidra Nest. So you could also just take a blanket, maybe place it over the top so you can kind of see your comfort there. I think a blanket, this one's pretty thick, so this would work well. And a little extra cushion. So this is where you can be as creative as you want. You can also just rest on the back, on the earth, but you might even roll up just a blanket that you have at home if you're just laying flat on your back, and then having maybe this go underneath the knees for a little support there. You could use a pillow for underneath the head if that feels inviting. So you can really be as creative as you want to be. That's one thing I like to do, is kind of just look around the space and think, okay, what do I have and how could I make that work for my Yoga Nidra Nest? And really anything can kind of go if you can be a little bit creative with it, such as the step behind us. All right, so let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing your Yoga Nidra Nest.